Of course, same day that EA releases a deep dive for the game modes, IGN releases a hands-on preview that actually shows quite a bit more than what EA showed. So let's go right ahead and check this out, man. Let's do this.
You ready to fight? Ready. Good.
Dateline.
While other EA Sports series like Madden, NHL, and EA Sports FC are on yearly release schedules, the UFC games have always benefited from the fact that EA Vancouver is able to take substantially more time in between each entry. In this case, it's now been nearly 3 years since the release of UFC 5, and after a recent 4-hour hands-on session, my first impression is that those 3 years feel well spent, as UFC 6 is shaping up to be another knockout for the franchise.
Mitchell Saltzman.
It was immediately clear to me once I picked up the controller that one of the pillars that EA Vancouver focused on with UFC 6 was making each fighter feel more distinct than they have in the past. No longer does every athlete have the same.
Okay, so what you guys are watching right here, this is motion capture. So essentially they brought in two people, they did a fight choreography, however you say that word. I never say that word properly. They set up the fight scene, recorded the mocap, and then mapped those motions to the actual character models of the fighters from UFC 6. So this is the same exact UFC 6 character models, but these animations that you're watching right here was mocapped specifically for this scene,
immediately clear to me once I picked up the controller that one of the pillars that EA Vancouver focused on with UFC 6 was making each fighter feel more distinct than they have in the past. No longer does every athlete have the same blocking stance. Instead,
like, see that right there? Like, look at that scene right there
stance.
with Bobby Green right here. This is not what I use Bobby Green, and this is not what Bobby Green looks like when you're using Bobby Green in UFC 6. When you're using Bobby Green in UFC 6, he moves just like Bobby Green. His hands are down. You'll see, man. I'm telling you guys.
Instead, they each have been placed into one of 4 buckets that determines how their defense works. Elusive fighters, such as
Sean
Anderson
Strickland,
Silva, Dominic Cruz, and MVP, all use an evasive stance, which keeps their hands low even while they're holding down the block button. They can and still will block, of course, but with these fighters, you'll probably want to focus more on making use of their increased head movement and reduce vulnerability while they're bobbing and weaving. Those who keep their hands up and keep a strong guard employ the sturdy style of defense, where their block is enhanced, but they are far less mobile while keeping their hands up. Many fighters utilize a balanced style that keeps their hands up but doesn't offer much in the way of significant advantage or disadvantages. And a few fighters, like Sean Strickland, make use of the Philly Shell, which has the unique perk of being able to mitigate both head and body damage at the same time, but is more vulnerable on the side of the head that is being undefended. For casual or non-MMA fans, this probably won't make too much of a difference. But as someone who prefers picking his favorite fighters and trying to emulate the way they fight in real life, I love being able to pick a fighter like Dominic Cruz and then just be able to play in a way that is true to the way he used to fight. Lots of darting in and out.
Man, look at Dominic Cruz, boy. Look at Dominic Cruz.
I love being able to,
I did not get to use Dominic Cruz.
Someone who prefers picking his favorite fighters
that
and
is
trying
a
to
brand
emulate
new...
the way they fight in real life, I love being...
Sorry, I'm just going to look at that. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Head kick. That's all new. Slip. The jab. Look at, oh my goodness. Nice. 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 See, I don't know, man. Like Cruz is always like, because of how recognizable, how different his movement is, if they don't get him proper, right? It's just, hold on, what's going on? Yeah, if they don't get him proper, it's almost like, come on, man. Like you gotta get Cruz. You gotta get Cruz in there. You gotta get TJ. You gotta get Anderson Silva. You gotta get Wonder Boy. You definitely have to get MVP. There's some fighters that are so distinct with the way they move that like you gotta nail them properly. And if you don't, then everybody looks at you like...
The core new feature of UFC, Flow State. It's basically a power-up that you can trigger once you fill up a meter that enhances a specific aspect of your fighter's playstyle for a limited amount of time. So, for example, Max Holloway's Flow State enhances his advancing footwork and stamina efficiency, encouraging
Before we continue, this is something that I've called out to them, and I don't know if I'm the only one seeing it, but some of these character models have I don't know what it is with EA sometimes that some of their character models almost look like overgrown babies. Like the proportions right here looks pretty good, but then when you take a look at Sirigan, like look at Sirigan right here. Like, is it just me or are these proportions really off? His head seems really big. His torso seems really short. His arms feel really short and his legs feel short, which then makes him almost look like it makes him look like he's like 2 weight classes smaller than Alex Pereira. This was the same issue that I noticed with Dricus du Plessis during the beta. He had this same type of issue with his body proportions. I'm really hoping they can go in there and figure out what in the hell is causing this, because it just looks really, really bad. Bobby Green, I remember when using Bobby Green also he had that thing with him too, and I was pointing that out.
Fighter's playstyle for a limited amount of time. So, for example, Max Holloway's flow state enhances his advancing footwork.
Christ, this character model is insane. Holy shit. Dude, isn't it funny, bro? I go from critiquing their character models to, oh my god, this character, EA, man. Like, they get you up and down. Like, one moment you're like, oh my god, that's amazing. Then the next you're like, oh my god, what are you guys thinking? That's just been my experience so far with EA, bro.
Encouraging him to move forward and
like, that
engage
is
in potentially reckless offense.
Gorgeous.
The cool thing about it, though, is that the opponent can respond to this with a taunt to earn a portion of that buff as well.
See what I'm saying? Okay, like, look at Bobby Green, man. First of all, they nailed his movement, all right? They nailed his movement. The hands down, they nailed it. But, bro, why is his head so goddamn big? Why is his head so big? And why does he has that I'm a tiny baby thing going? I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is.
Encouraging them to also engage.
Guys, am I the only one noticing that? Maybe I'm the only one noticing it. Maybe it's a head proportions thing. Oh, I think I know what happened. I know what happened. I know exactly what happened.
Potentially reckless offense. It's a mechanic pulled directly from Max Holloway's own signature style of closing out fights by pointing down at the ground and daring his opponent to go blow for blow against him while in the center of the octagon.
Oh!
In order to build these flow meters, each fighter also has their own flow boosts,
that is
which
Max
award
Holloway,
bonus
baby.
gain by performing certain actions designed around emulating how that person would actually fight. So, if you're one of those aforementioned elusive fighters that utilizes a lot of head movement, chances are you might have the like.
Bro, they got Ilya Taporia looking freaking beefy. Jeez, I did not remember him looking that big.
Or you might have the light water flow boost, which gives you a boost of flow meter whenever you successfully land a punch after slipping one. Those with a more ground game centric fighting style benefit from flow states too, with fighters like Islam Makhachev getting their flow boost by attacking with a variety of submission techniques and getting huge bonuses to their submission prowess when activating flow state while.
See du Plessis. Du Plessis got that. He's got that thing with that body, man. Oh my god, dude. This video is gonna be long as hell. I am so sorry. But see, du Plessis has that thing too. It's the torso. The torso is too short. Guys, we gotta do something about this, man. Before the game drops.
Activating flow state while on the ground. The flow state system represents the biggest change to how UFC plays compared to prior iterations, but there are a lot of smaller quality of life changes as well. More prominent hit effects make blows more impactful. The new physics system does a great job of making blows connect and deflect off blocks with more realism than ever before. There's a new optional time dilation feature that slows down time and helps newer players understand when they should be blocking, swaying, or defending transitions on the ground. And my personal favorite thing is that by default, jabs and straights are on 2 different buttons, regardless of what stance you're in. So there's no more accidentally throwing a slow straight when you meant to pepper.
Oh, I think I know what he's talking about. I think what he's talking about is, so EA is trying to make it easy for you to be able to switch. Okay, I'm gonna say this. I am about 80 to 85% sure this is what he's talking about, because I think I remember them saying something like that at one point. Basically what they're saying is, you know how usually when you switch to like, let's say you're an orthodox, okay? Your left hand is forward. Then that means that your jab is going to be square and your cross is going to be triangle. And that's on this controller. But If you were to go southpaw, then it switches. Then your jab will become triangle and your straight will become square. What they're saying is they have an accessibility feature in UFC 6 that will allow you to keep that same exact button layout regardless of stance. So if you were to go southpaw, your jab will still be square and your straight will still be triangle. And if you were to stay in orthodox, your jab will still be square, your straight will still be triangle. Make sense? So like the buttons won't switch just because you switched your stance. You'll maintain the same exact layout regardless. I believe that's what they're talking about.
And a couple of jabs, which has always been a personal sticking point for me with this series. While the career mode itself has seen a number of adjustments, like making it faster to get into the UFC, a straight-up shop where you can buy new moves as opposed to having to learn them from UFC fighters, and a bunch of new choices that can lead to either positive or negative outcomes, the big change this time around is the fact that there's now a cinematic prologue chapter called The Legacy. The Legacy puts you in the shoes of Chris Carter, a former collegiate wrestling standout looking to try his hand at MMA in an attempt to escape the shadow of his gold medal winning father. His journey intersects with Danny Lopez, a similarly promising MMA upstart who is single-mindedly driven in his goal of becoming champion and proving his doubters wrong. Without going into spoilers, I'll just say that while the two start out as training buddies and good friends, eventually they become bitter rivals, with their hotly anticipated UFC showdown serving as the climax of the prologue. After which, you'd naturally get funneled into the traditional career mode. In my hands-on time, I got about 2/3 of the way through.
So that's kind of a bummer. I'm a little bit bummed out now. Damn. Okay, so I was really hoping this would be exactly like a full-on story mode, like a Fight Night Champion style story mode, but it looks like it's way more similar to the UFC 5 like beginning, where you start in the back. You guys remember UFC 5? You start in the backyard with Coach Davis, and then you go to the UFC PI. All of that had cutscenes, and then you transition into a career mode. But they're saying it seems this is just going to be a longer version of that kind of intro. So this guy Chris Carter, and his rival Danny Lopez, they were training partners in the beginning, and then somehow this rivalry begins, and then you get funneled into a career mode. That's kind of a bummer, dude. I gotta be honest. Like, I was really hoping for a full-on career mode. That said, I'm going to just try to let that just let that one go, bro. Just let that one go.
Through the story in just about 2 hours or so, and my overall impression was pretty positive. Like prior UFC career modes, it does a good job of teaching you the basics of UFC 6 while contextualizing them all as training sessions for an inexperienced MMA fighter. Only this time, that inexperienced MMA fighter is an actual character with a backstory and clearly defined motivations. The story itself is a simple one.
You know what? You know what's going to here's what I'm actually just hoping for. I'm hoping that we get cutscenes throughout. Like, if you play with this character Chris Carter, like when it funnels you into career, like what I hate is it feels really half-assed when in the beginning you get this like story and cutscenes and all this, and then it just stops. Boom. Maybe the next one you get is like when you win the championship belt or when you become double champ. I would like them to have integrated the story in a way that just it feels like it's continuing the whole way through. That's what I'm hoping for, because it's gonna be really a bummer to like experience this amazing first half, and then the rest of it is just like regular career mode, which I already know they did not change much when it comes to like the core career mode. I already know it's gonna be essentially the same. Like, EA don't listen when it comes to fucking career mode. I don't know why, bro. Like, the stuff that we've been asking for when it comes to career mode since God knows how long. It seems like that, like an aspect of the game that it's just never gonna get the love that it deserves, Kind of sucks.
And
I must
since
say,
it is designed to be just a short prologue chapter, not a lot of time is devoted to developing the actual relationship between Chris and Danny, but it nevertheless succeeds in giving these early pre-UFC fights meaning and makes them less arduous to get through, which is a big win for the career mode in general.
Hall of
While
Legends.
career mode remains the thing that single players will put the majority of their time into, what I'm personally most excited about are the interactive museum-like exhibits that make up the Hall of Legends.
Oh,
These
they
are
show way
fully
more of it here.
explorable hubs designed around the careers and cultures of 3 UFC fighters. Max
Hey,
Holloway,
hey, does he spoil I don't want to see this. I don't want to see it yet. I literally avoid looking at this when I got the game. Oh, he spoils quite a bit of it, doesn't he?
Weili Zhang, and Alex Pereira. Weili's, for example, starts off by dropping you into a recreation of her hometown of Handan, China, where you can interact with several kiosks to read up on some background about how she started on her MMA journey, including clips of children training at the same martial arts school that she attended as a child, as well as insights into her personal life, like how her mother used to dig holes for her to jump out of, with each hole getting deeper and deeper, to the point where Weili herself described them as pits. It's pretty fascinating stuff. I said before that these are like interactive museum exhibits, but there's also an element of a Disneyland dark ride as well, with the way that the scenes unfold and change as you walk through them. The swelling and prideful music that scores the Handan scene gives way to a hip-hop beat as you enter the China's champion wing of the hub, which is themed like a UFC gym and focuses on Weili's actual UFC career and her significance as the greatest Chinese fighter to ever step foot in the octagon. Of course, you won't just be walking around, reading text logs and watching videos. Each wing comes with a defining fight in that person's career that you can play through, complete with its own context-setting introduction. In most cases, you won't play through the full fight, just the end with optional clear conditions that reward you for staying true to how the fight actually played out.
These character models are stunning.
As a longtime MMA fan, I loved everything about this mode. It humanizes the athletes, it's a wonderful show of different cultures done in a very...
I like this mode as well. But I'll be honest too, when I saw they were doing this, I was like, bro, this is going to get so much shit. Especially when you guys did not do anything with the ground game. This is the kind of thing you see, this right here, like, how do I put it? The fact that when you walk on snow in Red Dead Redemption, the snow moves. You know why that's dope? It's dope because people say, wow, we get that on top of the other cool shit that they already did, right? It's like, it's not, we don't love it because, you know, you interact with snow or horses' balls shrink and expand when they're cold or whatever crazy detail they added in Red Dead Redemption. The reason why those small details are so amazing is because it's like, we got that as well, right? This would have been, whoa, we got that as well if they revamped the ground game as well. Flow state, you know, the time they put in the buildings, something like flow state would have been received as, whoa, we got that as well if they revamped the ground game. If I ran that goddamn company, every tiny little bit of y'all ain't gonna have any you probably won't even have any modes, bro. But the core game will be freaking complete. The striking with the fighter uniqueness is going to blend into clinch work, which will have fighter uniqueness in there. Then the ground game will have fighter uniqueness in there. Not every single fighter passes guard the same way. Not every single fighter grounds and pounds the same way. Not every single fighter plays the same guard. Some fighters like close guard. Some fighters like bottom half guard. Some fighters like De La Hiva. Some fighters like deep half. All of these little things, I would make sure I have all of that packed in before I then decide, all right, what other fun shit can I throw in? So it's like, I like this. I do, you know, because I'm the kind of person, you know, that will go there and try to learn all the little history. I did that with UFC Undisputed 3. A lot of people didn't even know that stuff was in the game. I unlocked everything there is to unlock there, right? And now that I'm playing Elden Ring, I enjoy learning the lore from reading, you know, picking up a weapon and reading the history of the weapon or finding some obscure artifact and reading and piecing things together. I enjoy that. But stuff like this right here, it's not going to hit as hard when there are aspects of the game that are not where it needs to be, you know? So it's kind of unfortunate, right? It's like, great job. It looks great. It looks good. But, you know,
very respectable way, and it let me revisit some of my favorite fights in a way that only video games can allow. It's a feature that I hope sticks because I'd love to see similar treatment done for fighters like Anderson Silva, Khabib Nurmagomedov,
Me too.
Conor McGregor, and
Me
Kamaru
too.
Usman, just to name a few.
Take you what from who?
One other really neat addition that I appreciate greatly is the fact that the trading mode now has a Street Fighter 6-like frame
Yeah.
meter that breaks down how fast each technique is down to the last frame. UFC 6
Hitboxes.
seems to be making a push towards being more like a fighting game thanks to its more distinct styles of each fighter, meter management, and now they're even upping their training mode game. As a huge fighting game fan,
I
I
want to
love
see
to
what that is.
Overall, UFC 6 is shaping up extremely well
that it?
ahead of its June 19th release date, or June 12th for Ultimate Pass owners. The improved lighting and fighter models make it look noticeably improved, the striking is more satisfying, there are
Yeah. Okay. So notice how. This is something that I've seen people talk about. These different colors that you're seeing, like right here, you have this green little tint, and right here you have the blue tint. And in some other parts of the video, you don't have this tint at all, or see right here, you don't have it. All of this is going to depend on the arena that you're fighting in, right? EA, they're trying to give each arena a personality. You walk into a certain arena and it has the blue tint, or it might have the green tint, or it might have a red tint, or the yellow tint, or stuff like that. So it's just, they're trying to have fun with the artistic direction. That's really what it is. I personally don't mind it. I like it. I don't care. I don't care at all.
There are far more distinct feeling fighters thanks to the new flow state mechanics, and the Hall of Legends is a true treat for UFC fans looking to relive classic moments of the sport, as well as learn more about some of its most.
All right, so there you have it, man. Great video from IGN. They really went in depth and really gave us more to see and more to talk about. So great job on that. Look, I cannot wait for this game. I really cannot wait for this game. I cannot wait to dive in and start exploring this career mode. I want to see what this story actually is. I want to see how they blend it into career, and when we actually get into career, I want to see, if any, what changes that we have. And then I want to get to these fighter showcases, bro. I want to get to start learning some of these fighters. There's so many of them that I haven't touched, I haven't played. Dude, I'm just really looking forward to this product, bro. Really am. If you're not, that is okay, man. That's okay, bro. Like, that's fine. That's okay. Give me your thoughts in the comment section below. Tell me what you think. Are you excited? Are you not excited? And yeah, that'll be that. I'll see you guys later with a brand new one. As always, stay safe. Peace out. Have a good one.